Hello, wrestling fans. Blake Smith from Walking the Ropes, and welcome to another episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review for AEW Rampage, as well as Battle of the Belts from Newark, New Jersey for Rampage and Charlotte, North Carolina for Battle of the Belts. Before all that, make sure to check out the Walking the Ropes link tree for all things Walking the Ropes. To open AEW Rampage, we had a singles match between Adam Cole and Jake Atlas. My prediction for this match is it's going to be Adam Cole winning. Just seems like the undefeated person who is ranked number one is going to win. Could be wrong. Adam Cole looks to prove why he is the number one contender by taking out the newest signee to AEW. Atlas, for those who aren't aware, is one of the casualties of WWE's releases over the pandemic, and as someone who, whenever I hear people talk about him, they never have anything negative to say. Very hard worker, and one of the future stars of the business. Fair play to Atlas, he puts up a great fight, but Adam is just so damn good, he can get anywhere, he can't get anywhere in a match. He just gets cut down by Cole. I mean, at one point, Cole reversed what looked like a coffin drop from Atlas by hitting a backstabber in midair. The guy is just on another level. Atlas even surprises Cole by catching him off guard, I should say. He moved out of the way, and Atlas noticed this, so he changed direction of his missile drop kick and caught Cole anyways. You can even see Cole smiling because of that, and he thought it was a great move. Atlas even looks like he may have gotten the surprise win with a nice suplex into a powerbomb, which was really impressive, and he got a near fall. And Cole eventually goes for the Panama Sunrise, but doesn't get it, so he elbows Atlas and then locks in a knee bar for a win. The finish seemed a bit odd to me, but it was what it was. Adam Cole defeats Jake Atlas via submission, and Red Dragon came out afterwards. For the Malteser scale, I gave it a 3.25 out of 5. It was a very solid match. As far as for the WTR scale, I gave it a 3 out of 5. There was relatively decent build for this. I mean, we know a lot of matches for certain shows are just going to kind of be brought up within 1 or 2 days, but this one was kind of good. There was reason for it, precedent, and it worked really well. After the match, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly came out, and Cole gets on the mic and talks to Atlas and says that he just earned himself another ass beating. Before they can, though, Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends come out to make the save, and the former Undisputed Era run. Cody is not medically cleared, so Dustin will be stepping in at Battle of the Belts against Sammy Guevara to crown an interim TNT champion until Cody can return. The way they're wording it, in my opinion, it seems like Cody has COVID, but they're not really saying it, which is fair. They don't have to. I like the way they're doing this, using an interim champion. Very excited. Andrade El Idolo explains why he interrupted Sting and Darby and says he has no issue with Sting, and he just wants to know why Darby works for him, and tells Sting to name his price for Darby Allin. We then get a singles match, Hook versus Aaron Solo. My prediction is going to be Hook. Hook is so popular right now, and I think it's because he's just a guy looking to fight, and everyone loves it. Solo and QT were very confident heading into this match because they say they're the reason Hook is so good. I don't care if you helped his training, but he's been training with the likes of Taz and Powerhouse Hobbs. He's a different fighter now. And Hook looks incredibly strong, taking control of Solo and just tossing him around the ring. Hook doesn't even need long. He locks in the Rat Rum, which I believe is what Excalibur called it, for the win, and sends a clear message to QT in the factory as he brushes past QT and then hits a head and arm suplex after QT tried to sucker punch him. Hook defeats Aaron Solo, and for my Malteser scale, I gave this a 2.25 out of 5. It was a solid match. It was really good. Nothing wrong with it. For the WTR scale, I gave it a 2.25 as well, because it did kind of just come out of nowhere, and it just kind of felt like it was just another match for Hook. It was a good match, though. Ricky Starks talks about being pissed that the FTW title would not be defended at Battle of the Belts. So he talked to Tony, and now it will be defended against Matt Sydal to prove a point to Dante Martin. The Bunny and Penelope Ford talk about how they had to take the good out of Ty and Anna Jay, and they succeeded. Ty and Anna say that they did what they had to do to win. And it seems like we might not be done with this feud. I'm not sure. It seemed like that was the final match in the whole thing, but I guess not. We then get a tag team match. Ruby Soho and Riho versus Jamie Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker. My prediction for this match is Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker winning. And before the match can even start, Britt and her girls beat down Ruby and Riho. And that's no surprise, because that's exactly how this match got made in the first place, when Britt and Jamie jumped Ruby after her TBS title loss. Britt would be smart to isolate Riho, since she has to fight her for the title at Battle of the Belts, but she's unable to. Riho and Ruby work surprisingly well together as they tag in and out, but Britt seems to have a plan, with Rebel constantly getting involved. The back and forth in this match is great. Soho gets dominated by Britt and her girls, and then Riho comes in and takes control, even though she's the smallest in the ring by far. And Riho may well be on her way to winning her second championship. She even causes confusion, making Jamie hit Britt, and then rolling up Hayter for the win. Ruby Soho and Riho defeat Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. And for my Malteser scale, I gave this a 3 out of 5. It was a really solid match. No real mistakes that I noticed in it. It was good. For the WTR scale, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Britt has never really beaten Riho in competition. The overall build for this and the title match has been pretty good. And after the match, Britt seems to blame Hayter and shoves her away as she leaves. Tension is brewing. Maybe if Riho doesn't take the title, Hayter will. Dan Lambert and the Men of the Year talk about how now it's Dustin instead of one of them. Sky says he hasn't lost in over 300 days and he should be in the interim title match. Mark Henry talks with the main event competitors, 2.0, and they, as well as Santana and Ortiz and Eddie Kingston. 2.0 start talking and running their mouths, and Santana and Ortiz and Kingston don't care. They walk off frame and then appear in 2.0's frame and start beating them down. We get a no rules 6-man tag match. Santana, Ortiz, Eddie Kingston versus 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. My prediction for this match is definitely going to be Santana, Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston, because they are the most likely to win a no rules match in this situation. This match has the makings to be one of the most hard-hitting matches in AEW history, as all of these men just want to hurt each other. Even themselves, as Kingston smashes his own head with a trash can. And this match is everywhere. The cameras aren't even safe, as one gets drenched with beer. Honestly, there's so much going on, too much to try to talk about, and they threw everything except the kitchen sink, probably, only because there wasn't one at ringside. Just when you think that they can't do anything else, they throw powder in the eyes of Santana while Garcia is grabbing the ring bell, and 2.0 holds Kingston, allowing Garcia to smash his head in, but only for a near fall. And then, after a lot of back and forth, Santana and Ortiz hit a huge, aggressive combination of moves, taking out Jeff Parker for the win. Santana and Ortiz and Eddie Kingston defeat Daniel Garcia and 2.0. For my Malteser scale, I gave this a 4 out of 5. It was a solid match. Really brutal. If you haven't seen it, I definitely suggest going to see it. For the WTR scale, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. They have been running this story very well. The tension between Garcia and Kingston's awesome. The added tension of Jericho and Kingston is very, very cool. Speaking of, after the match, Garcia and 2.0 beat down Santana and Ortiz and then tape Kingston to the ring and start beating on him, and Jericho comes down to leaves commentary to make the save. My overall for the show, I gave it a 3.75 out of 5. It was a very solid show, and really there was nothing wrong with it. My segment of the night goes to Andrade El Idolo wanting to buy on Darby Allin. It was very interesting. And my match of the night is the No Rules match, and my performer of the night is Eddie Kingston. I think Eddie just stood out very much in that match. He took a brunt of the beating. It was brutal. We then move on to Battle of the Belts. It opens with the TNT Interim Championship match. Dustin Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara. My prediction for this match is definitely Sammy Guevara. This match is supposed to be Cody versus Sammy. Cody's unable to compete, so now we'll be getting the first ever Interim TNT Champion. They use the title that Darby was given, which is kind of neat. That way we have tons of TNT titles to use for stuff like this. It's very good. They also keep hinting that the eventual unification match, which is awesome because I feel that's something that's never really mentioned. Sammy and Dustin start out slow and breathe in the electric crowd. They were going nuts in the arena. Sammy tries to quicken the pace and stays a step ahead of Dustin, knocking him out of the ring. Dustin knows he needs to do something to get an edge, and he does just that by hitting a pile driver outside the ring. Dustin's the experienced one here, and he shows it as he's picks apart Sammy, targeting the knee. Sammy, though, is just insane and hits a springboard senton to the outside. The knee causes Sammy from doing another set of springboards and being caught in the crossroads. Sammy fights, even though it seems he has nothing left. He gets Dustin up on his shoulders and hits the GTH, but Dustin kicks out. This is awesome, as out of nowhere, Fuego del Sol comes out from under the ring and sets up a table on the outside, but Dustin, the crazy man he is, sees this and says, "Screw it, I'm going to hit a Canadian Destroyer." He just sends him and Sammy through it and still can't finish it. They both result in doing roll-ups in the middle of the ring as their last-ditch effort, and Sammy finally picks the last shoulder and gets the win. Sammy Guevara defeats Dustin Rhodes to become the interim TNT champion. It was a brutal match. I gave it a 4 out of 5 for the Malteser scale. I just enjoyed it so much. And for the WTR scale, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Just because I'm a little disappointed this wasn't just a regular title match with Cody. But I was very excited when I heard the prospect of an interim title, and they obviously kept hinting at the unification match. So I'm very excited. After the match, Daniel Garcia gets in the ring and slaps Sammy and looks like he wants to take a shot at the new interim TNT champion. After they're separated, Sammy's interviewed by Tony Schiavone and says that if Garcia wants a title match, he can have it next week. We then get the FTW Championship match. Ricky Starks defending against Matt Sydal. My prediction for this match is going to be Ricky Starks. This match seems like it's just kind of here. A good match for sure, but came out of nowhere to fill a title match on the show. I don't hate it. I just wish that if we are to care about this match, that we're just given a little more of a reason to care. We were literally told about this match for reference for this show last night. If we were live with the show, obviously we're not. The FTW title will 90% of the time stay on anyone associated with Taz, and it's not likely to ever change. Sydal, though, is fighting his heart out trying to win. I'll give him the credit. But Starks has Hobbs on the outside to help whenever things get rocky. Ricky is in control, and it seems as though it'll be a matter of time until he finishes it. Sydal, though, uses his skills to gain the edge again as he stays a step ahead of Starks, hitting the lightning spiral for a near fall. Sydal, though, is now angry, and he starts to run at Starks, but Starks ducks him, hits the spear, followed by the Rochambeau for the win. Ricky Starks defeats Matt Sydal to retain the FTW Championship. My Malteser scale, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Very solid match. I didn't hate the match at all. For the WTR scale, I gave it a 1 out of 5. The build for this was just kind of, well, Starks stood up on Rampage and said, I want to defend the FTW title, and now I am. So, I don't know, it just kind of felt out of nowhere. After the match, Hobbs and Ricky Starks jump Matt Sydal, and Lee Moriarty comes to make the save, but is quickly dealt with. And Dante Martin comes out to make the save, brawling with Hobbs, who he has a match with on Dynamite. And finally, we have the AEW Women's World Championship match. Dr. Britt Baker defending against Rio. And my prediction for this match is definitely Britt Baker coming out on top. She is kind of the underdog in this situation, having never been being able to defeat Rio, but I still think she's going to win. This match has had an awesome build. Goes all the way back to when Rio was champion herself and defended against Britt Baker. Britt, though, is a completely different person now, as she's become more brutal and dominant than ever. Britt, though, has to overcome Rio, who she has never defeated in any type of match. Singles, tag, triple threat, anything. Britt's girls are already helping her out, and Rio knows that she must take on all 3 women and not just Britt. Britt lets Rebel take a crossbody from Rio, and Britt and Jamie go for a table, but Rio stops Britt and then runs up the table and drop kicks Jamie. She seems to have leveled the playing field for now, and Jamie is almost trying to cost Britt the title, it seems. She's distracting Britt more than helping her. Like, she's trying to talk to Britt rather than just hand her something, because Britt's, doing the match. But Britt realizes she's going to have to kind of do this herself, and starts to focus on wearing Rio down. Rio fights back finally and shows Britt that she has more in her than it appears. She hits a Tiger Feint kick, which is a 619 for those who don't know, and locks in a deep submission and then goes to the top, but Britt is saved by Rebel, who lays on top of Britt and Rio stomps on her. Britt uses the distraction to hit an air raid crash for a near fall, and it's just been crazy. They're putting everything they have into this match. Britt hits a nasty curb stomp, but Rio just won't stay down. Hayter is done now, it seems, with Britt. Like, she grabs the title and just kind of drops it on the ground, and it ends up getting Rebel ejected because she picks it up and tries to hand it to Britt. And then Rio takes advantage, but not for long. Britt just kicks Rio and stomps on her again and locks in the lockjaw for the win. Dr. Britt Baker defeats Rio to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. For my Malteser scale, I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. Very solid match. I enjoyed it through and through. For the WTR scale, I gave it a 4.75 out of 5. It was a fantastic build for this match. They've done everything they could to make us care about this match, and I enjoyed it so much. Britt and Jamie seem to hug it out after, but I think that it's only a matter of time until Jamie turns on Britt. I really do. And the overall for this show is a 4.25 out of 5. It was a fantastic Battle of the Belts, they called it. I enjoyed it so much. My segment of the night goes to Sammy challenging Garcia, or Garcia challenging Sammy, however you wanted to look at it. Very good. My match of the night is Britt and Rio. They did amazing. They brought the house down for sure. Deserved main event. My performers of the night are Sammy, Dustin, Britt, and Rio. I couldn't pick just one. They all did so amazing. But that is all for this episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review. Thank you all for dropping in. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notifications whenever we upload a video. And I'll see you in the next one.